Good day, my name is Bluesuit and today I'll be going over my review of the dark fantasy roguelite ARPG dungeon crawler known as Curse of the Dead Gods. In Curse of the Dead Gods, you play as a greedy lone grave robber as you dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge your way through the halls of the Great Lost Temple towards endless enemies, fearsome bosses, and countless riches. In the game's opening cinematic, you find yourself trapped inside the temple with no way out but forward through its paths of the jaguar, the eagle, and the serpent. Each path has its own unique aesthetic as well as enemies and traps that you'll need to learn how to deal with. The path of the eagle, for example, is filled with lightning traps and avian enemies, while the path of the serpent is an easy place to get poisoned by exploding maggots and bitten by snakes. Every location looks amazing with Curse of the Dead Gods' dark fantasy-inspired graphics, and after you beat each level, you can unlock the next tier of that path, leading you to bigger and more powerful enemies as well as rewards. The biggest and best part of Curse of the Dead Gods is its tight loot-based combat. You can carry a torch, a main hand weapon, an offhand weapon, and a two-hand weapon at the same time, swapping between them based on your combat necessities. Your torch is always a torch. It can light enemies and braziers on fire, giving you the benefit of light. However, if you step outside that light, or if your torch goes out, you enter the darkness where you'll take an additional 50% damage from all sources. When it comes to actual weapons, however, there are a ludicrous amount that have made their way into the game, from swords, spears, hammers, guns, claws, bows, whips, throwing axes, tons and tons of weapons that are all unique and not only have their own attack animations and range, but come with their own passives, and you can even upgrade them during your runs to add additional damage and more passive abilities. There's really an insane amount of build customization in Curse of the Dead Gods just from the weapons themselves, but there are also a lot of personal buffs to your character called blessings. Curse of the Dead Gods is not a roguelike, but rather a roguelite. And even though when you die, your run is over and you lose your progress, you still get to keep some of the currencies that you earned, and there are dozens of ways to spend them on permanent upgrades back in your hub world, called the Underworld here. The first, as I mentioned, blessings, are passive bonuses to your character, such as immediately gaining 1,000 gold at the start of your run, or gaining a damage buff every time you get hit. There isn't even one useless blessing, and they all do a really good job of getting your creativity spinning on making up some builds. You can also unlock the temple's Forsaken weaponry that allow you to find more weapons while out on your runs, and you can buy divine favors that give you more opportunities to purchase gear in the levels. But the really great upgrades and the most expensive are your weapon altars. These altars will give you a random selection of starting weapons to choose from. You begin with only a single altar with the lowest quality gear, but after spending enough skulls, you can get up to 4 different altars that all have very high chances to let you start off your runs with top tier gear. The idea is that you use the weapons and blessings that are available to you to make all sorts of crazy or strong builds that you can then use and head into the temple to put them to the test. It's a fantastic gameplay loop that provides a ton of replayability and gets very addictive quickly. The last thing that I want to talk about with Curse of the Dead Gods is its progression. As par for the genre, players enter into runs from the hub world and progress through a branched map, the locations of which reward players in a myriad of ways. Here, those rewards can be gold, weapons, upgrades, stat bonuses, healing, passives, or even just nothing but a room full of enemies and traps. The thing that really sets this one apart, however, is the curse system. Some enemies deal curse damage to you, and after your meter fills up, you become cursed, and then your meter resets. Curses usually aren't too bad. Things like blurred vision and trapped chests are a hindrance, but they shouldn't really stop you from finishing your run. The kicker here is that you can be cursed multiple times, and each one is added to the last until you get to tier 5. I won't spoil the tier 5 curse, but yeah, it's real bad. In addition to curse damage from enemies, you'll also take a flat 20% curse damage every time you complete a level in your run. It does add a degree of RNG since you aren't going to know what curses you're going to get, so players are going to need to keep their eyes peeled for ways to de-curse themselves. Right now, you can pick up Curse of the Dead Gods on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch for $20, but it's actually worth even more than that. It's got a great art style, tons of fun and challenging enemies, as well as big scary bosses. There's a ton of replayability and room for theory crafting some exciting builds too, so I'm valuing Curse of the Dead Gods at $23, and I'd highly recommend it to fans of punishing, action-focused roguelites who are looking for yet another great entry into the genre. I hope you enjoyed this review of Curse of the Dead Gods. Come see me on Twitch. We can watch our reviews in progress 5 nights a week. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!